Y'all, what time is it? Almost 10 a.m. I know. I overslept this morning. That's when I know my body needed the rest. Because y'all see, I'm on here looking like Don King, but no shame in my game. I got hair on my head. And even if I didn't, what difference does it make? All right, so come on in. Let me play the morning vibes for you guys. I just want to read the positive thoughts. I want to chat it up a little bit. Who the hell is up? Hey, Brandilla, good morning. Hey, Lip Gloss, good morning. Come on in. I know I'm late, looking like Don King, but we're going to get through it because what?
Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, you
What?
grow hard about what you wanna be.
Step
Step four, everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. 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 Today's gonna be a good day. Life ain't easy, yo. I think there's a reason, though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, yo. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts and poison they ride. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself the foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. 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 Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, really gonna rise to the sun. Step two, get some food in you. Step three, grow hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Good morning, y'all. Well, it's almost afternoon, but who's judging? I'm still having my first cup of coffee. Hey, Rufino, I'm still having my first cup of coffee. I'm still picking the coal out of my eyes. Can y'all see that I still look sleepy? Lord, I mean, I overslept. I don't know what happened. I set my alarm clock to 6 a.m. like I normally do so that I can get up, ride my bike. Hey, Paul, ride my bike. And baby, when I opened my eyes and I saw the daylight was bright, it said 9:05. But guess what, y'all? I had a 9 o'clock meeting this morning. And I was unprofessionally late. It wasn't my meeting. Thank God I wasn't hosting the meeting, but I hate to be late, especially with the audience that was at this particular meeting. So I need to get my shit together. But going into the office on Tuesday and Wednesday, don't judge me. It's hard, y'all. Right? And not only that, my workload in the office is changing. Okay, Angel and Delectables, good morning. Hey, mother. My workload at work is changing. They are loading me up. I just inherited a program. I mean, it's going to keep me busy. I have right now, I'm able to manipulate my schedule. I'm able to do certain things. I'm able to have a level of peace, but they're trying to take me back to the baby boomer days where I was really into my job and I didn't mind working late nights and weekends and shit like that. But I mind now. I'm not a baby boomer anymore, right? There are people that are still looking to climb the ladder. They want to be VPs. They want to be senior directors. They want to be CTOs, COOs. Good morning, CDP. I'm not aspiring to be a CTO, a COO, or anything like that. I know for some people that might seem weird to them, but I'm only looking to be COO and CTO and all that shit for my own company, right? I'm not looking to give blood, sweat, and tears like that. I'm getting up in age, right? And it has been proven that these companies will work you to death. Hey, hillbilly, work you to death and dispose of you as yesterday's garbage, right? And so I don't be trying to climb the corporate ladder anymore because when it comes to the numbers game, they start looking for the people with the alphabets in front of their name. But I don't know if I'm gonna have a choice, y'all. They're pushing me. So I'm gonna have to go with the flow and see where this gets me. But I do ask this, y'all, that y'all be patient with me. I think that for the 3 years, we're in 3 years now. We're past January. I started this shit 3 years ago. All right. And I think that I have shown up here consistently enough and built my consistent following. What I mean by that is family, right? I don't consider anybody as a following. You guys are family. A lot of you guys have been rocking out with me from the beginning of time. And so I ask that you be patient as my world starts to evolve again with work and everything, right? My schedule with Coffee with Friends is going to get a little hectic. I might start switching some of my shows to the evening times. Whatever it is, y'all got to rock with me, all right? We're going to make this happen because this new project coming up, it might interfere with some of my morning shows. All right. And so with that, y'all, good morning. Happy Thursday. Hillbilly said for the first year of COVID, my wife had to work 16 hours, 7 days a week. Yeah. And so what's happening is, and I don't know if it's happening at other corporate companies, but we're working on thin staff. I know Johnny Leon Hill. I just got out of bed at 9:05 and then I had to run to a meeting and now I'm here. Look at my hair. Look, anyway, it don't matter, right? It's hair. It's there. Okay, it's clean. It smell good. That's all that mattered. Yeah. Yes, and good morning. Good morning, Johnny. All right, y'all. So guess what? Last night, I was invited to speak on an all-women's panel, The Muzzle is Off panel last night, and it was a great conversation. Now I know why y'all be trying to keep me on here. We were on that conversation and we talked about a lot of things. It was a panel of women and we just talked about the things that was on our mind. And it was very interesting. It was very good. All right. So I should have tagged some of y'all in it. The thing went 3 hours. I was like, oh, damn, I be rushing people off my shit talking about it's been an hour, y'all. It's been an hour and a half, y'all. See, I need to take more time. That's why I need to do more shows at night, right? So that I have more time and I'm not rushing to get to my job in the morning. So I might start doing some more evening shit. Wait, Aquanda, you overslept too? Oh my goodness. Hey, Jagger the Sanka Rubber. Did I say that right? That's a long name. Right? Hey, Paul, you watching me from New York City? You right across the water. I'm right over here in New Jersey. What time do I usually go to sleep? Were you on my live last night on TikTok? Because last night I was on TikTok I jumped on TikTok last night and I said, I'm just jumping on here to have a nightcap and say good night, right? Play a couple of songs. These MFers went into song requests. I was on TikTok, I don't know, until 1:30 in the morning. We were jamming on TikTok. I mean, it was the first time I had a couple of hundred eyeballs watching me at the same time. I was like, wait, what? Y'all motherfuckers are really up? Giving me song requests and everything. And of course, I drank almost a bottle of wine. So this is how I overslept, y'all. I need to be held. I need to be held. So Paul, to answer your question, I don't have a specific time. I don't go to sleep. I fall asleep, if that makes sense. Like I get in the bed, like when I start to fall asleep on the couch, and then I get in the bed and I turn the TV on and I fall asleep. So maybe like around 11, midnight, 1, something like that. Hey, Yana, good morning. Aquanda said, not for work. I was supposed to take my daughter to work. She woke me up. Oh, my goodness. What's going on, y'all? We need sleep. All right. Well, today is February 23rd. And, you know, the topic I put up there for today is living up to expectations. What does that mean to you? Just give it straight. Living up to expectations. Do you find that in your life you are forcing yourself, or you have to live up to certain expectations, or you'd feel as though you disappointed yourself and others? Living up to expectations. Does sometimes living up to expectations cause you to put yourself last? Does sometimes living up to expectations put you in a bad frame of mind? Does living up to expectations have you not appreciating your own worth? Okay? Think about that for a minute. All right? In the meantime, between time, I'm going to read the positive thought for February 23rd. I Will Know Love. Y'all know I read from Until Today, Iyanla Vanzant's book. All right? Some of you guys on here have this book. We start out with reading a positive thought. We talk about it, you know, figure out how we feel about it, how it applies in our life, how we can make it apply. And if it doesn't apply, you just keep going, right? February 23rd, I will know love when I realize there is nothing I have done that God cannot forgive or understand, if you believe that. Let's lay our cards out on the table. You have not always done your best. Nobody has. Even though some motherfuckers out here swear they the best and they don't make no mistakes, and so therefore they don't give other people grace, right? But this say, let's lay our cards out on the table. You have not always done your best. Yeah. Oh, wait. You have not always lived up to your responsibilities or your own expectations. There have been times when you have not shown up prepared to do what you needed to do. That was me this morning. Okay? Even though you really don't like to admit it, there are times when you feel inadequate, afraid of failing. It is not also true that to cover up for all of the things you have difficulty admitting about yourself, you hide behind a harsh, I don't give a damn veneer. How many people walk around talking about, I don't give a damn, I don't care, I really don't give a fuck? This is saying that because you cannot admit out of fear of failing, right? Some people walk around with this I don't give a damn demeanor. Okay? It's a cover up. I don't give a damn veneer. If you are able to admit any of these things about yourself, then we are on the right track. You see, God already knows this about you and loves you just the same, if you believe that. Let's take this one step further. Would you say that there have been times where you have chosen to be less than honest in order to get what you want? How many of you on here have been dishonest just to get what you needed or wanted out of life? How do you respond when you get caught in a lie? How do you respond when you get caught in a lie? Would this mean that you have said and done things that still haunt you? Have there been occasions when you have made promises that you knew at the time were made you would not keep? How many promises did you make that you knew you were not going to keep? How did you get out of doing what you promised you would do? Don't you hate to be wrong? What do you do to keep others from knowing when you are? How do you hide when you know you're wrong? How do you hide that? How do you act out your anger? I'm learning how motherfuckers act out their anger. How do you hide your fear? How do you live with the fact that there are things you have not done because of fear and anger? Before you try to answer one or more of these inquiries, there is something I want you to remember. God knows all about you. God cares. God understands and God loves you anyway. If that is what you believe, whatever it is you believe. But ask yourself, right? What's stopping you from moving forward and experiencing different things in life? Fear? Until today, you may have been hiding things about yourself. Just for today, allow yourself to remember to accept and acknowledge that God knows you and loves you, right? Today, I am devoted to laying all my cards on the table. Lay your cards on the table. So many people walk around hiding, right, behind facades because they're ashamed or they're afraid, right? They're ashamed or they're afraid. So it stops them from moving forward in so many things. How many people have decided they want to start a business, but they didn't because they're afraid? How many people want to be in relationships, but they're not jumping in 2 feet because they're afraid, because of experiences that they had in the past? How is fear holding you back, right? When you are not your best, when you make promises that you cannot keep, when you lie to get things that you need and then you get caught in that lie, what happens then? What happens then? Right? Are you truly loving yourself? Are you being accountable for yourself at this point? We are not always our best. We're not, right? And sometimes admitting when we're not in that best space is hard, because everyone wants to assume that they are in their best, right? This is why, relationships clash, because somebody thinks that they're operating in their best and they're judging the next person, right? Without realizing that there are times when all of us are going to have the experience of not operating within our best selves. And are you okay with that? Living up to expectations. This is what made me think of that, right? Because sometimes living up to expectations might not have you being your best self, right? This light is annoying me. It might not have you, but then I'm dark over here. It might not have you being your best self. Again, it's in my face, y'all. Yana said, "Good morning. I live up to my own expectations I have for myself, because trying to live up to what people expect of you makes you stressed out." Hey, Chef You. Yes. right? Living up to expectations and accepting that you are not always going to be your best self. Let me tell you something about expectations and my life, right? There's a lot of people, I think it's because I'm still in my healing journey. So I say I think because I'm still unpacking a lot of things, right? And expectations, what I noticed when I started doing a deep dive assessment of my life, I realized that there are a lot of people that have expectations of me, right? And it's probably because of the way I move. One of the things I've identified in my life and in my healing journey is I take on projects, right? Whether it's men in relationships or friendships, projects meaning they need me. I help them. I offer myself up. They become projects to me. Okay. And I have all and I do all these things. And then after a period of time, I get tired, I get burnt out, and I take a break, a rest, a break. But then what happens is because I've been in that mode of doing and showing up and just being there because I realized that I like projects, when I take a break and I stopped, the expectations that I have laid before people are up here. But now I want to rest, right? And so people are still expecting me to do this. And I'm like, nah, I'm tired. I don't want to do that. I'm tired, right? And then it starts to affect the relationship because their expectations are up here, right? How do you manage something like that? And then to them, when I'm operating down here, because now I'm focusing on myself, they're looking at me like she's not operating at her best. But what I'm learning is I wasn't operating at my best when I was up here. I was depleting myself, right? So living up to expectations sometimes has a negative effect because you're right, Yana. You said you were stressed the fuck out. I was stressed out. I was spread thin. And when I stopped living up to the expectations of others and started living up to the expectations of myself, people got mad or disappointed because now to them, I'm not operating in my best. But what they don't realize is I am ultimately operating in my best because now I'm not living up to the expectations of other people, right? I'm living up to the expectations for myself. For myself. And that's not an easy thing to do, especially when you are a person that's a people pleaser. Y'all know that about me. Good morning, So Blessed. Right? But I'm not in that people pleasing mode anymore. It's not completely gone, but I'm healing through it. I'm learning to accept when I say no, if they're disappointed, if they're mad at me, if they're upset because to them I didn't live up to their expectations. I am now learning to be okay with that. Whereas there was a time in my life where I wasn't okay with that. I would be disappointed, but it would always be at the detriment of myself. But no more. I am learning to live in the space of, I can't, I'm working on my expectations for myself, right? Paul said, remember the song from Teddy Pendergrass, You Can't Hide From Yourself? Paul, I need you on TikTok. That could have been a song recommendation. All right. You can't hide from yourself. Yes. Many back in the day songs had truth in it. They did. And that's why, Paul, when I jump on TikTok, I play all old school music, right? I play all old school music. I set my settings to a mature crowd. And let me tell you something. The people that joined my TikTok last night, I was impressed, y'all. Y'all were making these people were making some recommendations from throwback, some songs I didn't even know. I was like, yes, I found my music crew. I found my music crew. Living up to expectations. Listen, guys, people, places, and things, I say this all the time, changes. We evolve as human beings. And there are a lot of people in our lives that would tell us we need to grow. We need to focus on ourselves first. We need to do this. But then when you do that, people become offended, distant, right? But living up to expectations can be stressful, especially if you're not meeting your own needs. Okay. Last night I was on an all-girl panel and the discussions was so deep. There was one young lady on there I loved. I loved them all, right? And we were talking about, dating and the expectations out here in the dating world and stuff like that. And she said, you know what? She don't want to be married. She don't want to be in a committed relationship. She don't want to. And you know what? I respected that. Because you know what? So a lot of people are running around here living up to the expectations of society, their friends, their family members, whatever, right? But this woman jumped on and she said, I don't give a damn what society says, what people expect, what my family it thinks they need me to do. I don't want a committed relationship. I don't want to be married. And I was like, ain't nothing wrong with that. But when people hear women say that, they look at them side-eye and be like, what? All women are supposed to want to get married. All women are supposed to want to be in these committed relationships. But baby, let me tell you something. All women do not. Just like all men do not. Right? These are the conversations that we need to be having and being more open with each other when we cross each other's paths. Friends, family, siblings, parents, whatever. Now my Wi-Fi acting up. 1 second. Friends, family, or whatever. Right? She don't want it. That is being honest with yourself and transparent with other people in your life and not caring about the expectations of society. Not everybody is trying to live up to the cookie cutter expectations that the world has laid out for us. And it was a blessing to be on a panel with a bunch of women and hear all these different versions of themselves. I loved it. Living up to expectations. That's not me anymore. And for some people, it's going to look mean. But I'm doing it because I love myself, right? And the one thing in this society has showed me is that we are human. And so although, we preach the good word, love yourself, a lot of people, when they see you loving yourself and they see the acts behind you loving yourself, they're not happy about how you're loving yourself. You got to love yourself anyway. Aquanda said, Yana said, you have to do what's best for you always. Aquanda, I did not want to get married, but I don't know. Oh, I did want to get married, but I don't know. All right. Take your time. Marriage is not for everyone, and that's okay. And that's okay. All right. The other thing we talked about on the All Girls show last night is moving with transparency with your friends, with your lovers, with your family members, right? Being transparent, letting people know exactly how you feel when you feel it, right? And making people accountable for how they make you feel, right? That's my shit right now. Like, I used to be the type of person that, and I'm a tough cookie, so I take a lot of shit. And it's like I have bird feathers. Well, that don't sound so good because I'm not really trying to call myself a bird. But like some shit just roll off of me, right? But not anymore. Like when I see shit, I'm gonna be like, nah, I don't deserve that shit. So nah. I'm either going to address it. Well, I am going to address it. And if you don't want to address it, then I exit stage left. I exit stage left. Johnny Hill, what do you mean you too? Wait, Johnny, what do you mean you too, Johnny? What do you mean you too? I put my guest link up there. What do you mean you too? You too what? I need to hear this. You did want to get married, but I don't know. And Johnny, you said you too. What does that mean? What does that mean? I mean, I've been married. This is my truth. The fuck. I've been legally married one time. My second marriage was only through the Islamic religion. There was no state papers on that. It was through the Islamic religion. That's why when I broke up with my ex, we didn't have to go through lawyers and all that shit. He just had to make it public in his, masjid that we were no longer, united front, right? Um, and we did that for many reasons, right? We did that for many reasons. And you know what? I'm glad, y'all. Because when it was over, I didn't have to go through paperwork for a legal divorce. I didn't have to do none of that. So I was happy for that. So when I asked myself, would I get married a second time? Because I'm not counting that time. Would I get married a second time legally, officially? Yeah, I would do that shit again. Right? I would do that shit again. I mean, at this point, some people might say, why bother get married at this point? Because if the person had a previous wife and, there's a risk that the previous wife is going to get all the pension and shit like that. But you know what? Like I said last night on the girls panel, and like I said on here before, that a lot of these men out here be talking about, I don't want to get married because I don't want her taking my shit. And I'll be like, what shit? We could put together a prenup, but what are we prenupping? Your paycheck? The fuck we doing? So I would get married again. I would. Who else on here would get married again? I'm just asking. Johnny, I know. Johnny said marriage is a lot, and if you are not ready for it, it will slap you in the face. I don't blame people for rethinking marriage if you're not sure. I know. I'm going to tell you, it's hard. And you know what I found? The longer you live with someone, that's what happened with me and my ex that I was with for like 20 years. The longer we lived with each other, marriage became further and further away for us, right? That's the risk of living with someone. You live with someone, like I love living with people before I get married to them so that I can see their in-house living habits. I don't care. Don't judge me, right? I love to shack up before we actually hitch, right? But sometimes that's risky because then you start to see the ugliness in each other, right? And then you start saying, do I really want to get married to this person? Is this person really for me? You start scratching your head and shit. And then it's like, maybe we wait. 20 years later, we ain't never got married, right? Because the ugliness and the things that happen in relationships happen. And every time you turned around, it was an excuse for us because of what? What did it talk about? Fear. Fear keeps you from doing some of the things that you want to do. And we became afraid. We were like, fuck this. If we having these problems now, what is it going to be like when we get married? Right? And are we getting married because we really want to be married to each other? Or are we living up to expectations of society because we have this house built, we're living under the same roof? Do we feel that because of the expectations of society and our families and our friends, is that why we're pushing to get married? And then we never did. See, Angel, you with me. Me too. Angel said, I'd get married again. I would. Paul said, to each his own. As for me, to love and care for somebody other than myself, then marriage is my decision. The Bible says that marriage is good as well as being single is good. Just don't fornicate. Well, that's the... Paul, I love it. Thank you. And that's the part. Just don't fornicate. Right? This is the part that a lot of us are having a problem with, Paul. That's the part. Just don't fornicate. Easier said, right? But yet we hear every day that somebody fornicated and they're married. And they're married. I love it. And you're right. Marriage is your decision. You don't have to live up to expectations of society. It's okay. You know, my friends in Texas are getting married next year. I'm so excited. I told y'all about that already. And it was the first time a man, that the guy is my friend, my best friend. And it was weird when he said to me, when I said, wow, you're finally getting married? Because he's been married before. So this is his second marriage and this is her second marriage. And so, people, are hesitant to jump the broom the second time around, some people. And so they've been together 10 years and they're getting married. And he said to me, I'm so tired of her calling me her boyfriend. I was like, what? I was clutching my invisible pearls. I was like, what? What? Most time women say that. I'm sick of saying that that's my boyfriend. I'm tired of saying that that's my boyfriend. But he said she deserved better. I'm tired of hearing her say that's my boyfriend. We have a house together. Our families are gelled together. I'm tired of her calling me her boyfriend. I'm going to tell y'all no lie. That's the first man I have ever heard say those words. I have never heard another man say that they are tired of their woman calling them their boyfriend. First of all, in these ugly ghetto dating streets, it's hard to even get somebody to say they're your boyfriend. So for him to say that, I was like, wow. Wow. Right? He didn't do this because he's living up to expectations of society or his friends or his family. He did it because internally it bothered him. And so he felt like he needed to make a change. And he did. Angel said, oh, I'm 100% gonna fornicate. Angel. Hey, Madison, you missed that I overslept. I woke up at 9:05 this morning. My body probably needed it, right? I think what's happening is, an Angel, I'm trying to increase my bike classes, right? Because your body plateaus and you get used to your routines. When I first started riding my Peloton, I started out with 20-minute classes, and I did that for about almost a year, and then I boosted it up to 30-minute classes, and then I inject 45-minute classes in there, and I take those classes. Now the classes that I take are very hard. We're on high resistance and high speed, so these shits be kicking my ass. Lately, my new thing to try to jumpstart my body again so that it can say, okay, we got to change. We got some other new shit coming in. I've been taking 3 classes, breaking it up. So I'll take a 30-minute class, right? And then I'll take a 10-minute extra low impact class. And then I'll take a 5-minute cool down class. And that's what I've been doing. And then I've been going in and doing my calisthenics, like my abs and my squats and shit like that. And so I've been doing that lately. I've done it about 3 times, and I think my body is like, wait a minute, bitch. Wait a minute, So I'm trying to adjust to, oh God. I'm trying to adjust to, okay, IG. Hopefully y'all are back. Somebody tried to call me. I'm trying to adjust to the new workout routine. All right. Angel said, I'm just keeping it real shit. So you're gonna fornicate. So Paul, when you say just don't fornicate, do you mean when you single, don't have sex with people? You're saying what? What does that mean? Or did you mean when you're married and you're in a relationship, don't fornicate, don't cheat on your partner? Because I'm trying to figure this out. Because I'm a fornicate while I'm single, if that's what you mean, like sleep. I mean, who's out here dating and not smashing? I mean, I'm not judging, right? But I can't make you my man unless I smashed you, right? Because I'm not one of those people that are good with surprise peen. Like, I don't want to find out after we're in a committed relationship that me and your peen don't get along. I don't want to find that out. So I'm a fornicate to make sure that I want you. That's my honest. That is my honest. Right? But I would get married again. So there that is. I would definitely get married again. But there's a lot of people operating out of fear. And so we can't even navigate through healthy relationships out of fear. Okay? Nevertheless, try to get motherfuckers down the aisle these days, because both men and women are like, what the fuck? There was another woman on the show last night. She said if she get married, her husband can have his own house. You see how we are? You see this new generation? We be tired, y'all. She said, if I get married, he can live in a whole separate house, right? Because a lot of the women on that panel last night, you know what they said? I suffer PTSD and I have anxiety. So many of us are operating, women and men, operating in life, dealing with PTSD and anxieties. Fear, and fear triggers them shits. Okay? Fear triggers them shits. Good morning, Val. Good morning. Delectables, you just listening, you soaking it up. I love it. I love it. Good morning. And this is not just for Val. I'm glad you joined, because, a lot of times we talk on here. I have a small population of LGBTQ that join my lives. I wish I had a broader audience, right? Because I love a diverse audience, because I love to get perspectives across every relationship, right? And a lot of times we're on the show and we're talking about relationships, across man and woman, but same-sex relationships too, right? We're talking about them as well. Post-traumatic sex disorder. Johnny, what do you mean? PTSD, that's the PTSD I got. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I said I had PTSD. Johnny said post-traumatic sex disorder. Well, I wonder what that would be like. I wonder what post-traumatic sex disorder would be like. What the fuck is that? What is it? What is it? Who has PTSD? So many women and men are operating out of anxiety and PTSD and fear, right? But a lot of it, or some of it, comes from trying to live up to these expectations of family members, friends, lovers, kids, right? But the only thing we should be living up to is what we expect of ourselves, right? And with that, we hope that if we're living up to our own individual expectations, that what we pour out is a reflection of how we are moving and living up to our expectations. And hopefully it's positive. And hopefully everyone will get a positive experience. But if you are living your life living up to other people's expectations and being stressed out and miserable, then how are you self-caring? How are you loving up on yourself first? You're not. I know you're average logical thinker. I woke up late this morning. You see my hair? Ain't not a damn curl in it. This is what my hair looks like naturally. Okay. And this is why next week it's going to be back in the weave, because I can't do that. I can't go to work looking like this. They're going to be like, what? And so every day I have to 2-strand twist this to give it some kind of curl, because by the time I get on my bike, it goes back like this, Don Kingish, right? But don't worry, next week, Cinnamon Ginger will be back. Yes, Val, post-traumatic sex disorder. That's the kind of PTSD Johnny said y'all got. And Valerie said, it must be some good sex. Damn, it must be. The fuck? It must be. Valerie said, and how is your intentions genuine when you move under other expectations? Oh! The fucking question. Who's going to answer that? Who's going to answer this question? Because that's a good question. How is your intentions genuine when you move under others' expectations? How is it genuine? How? Thank you, your average logical thinker. Thank God, because this is all I have for y'all this morning. How can you be a genuine person and move genuinely, living under others' expectations and not your own? That is a great, I need answers. I don't know the answer to that, Valerie. I'm here with y'all. I happen to be on here talking, but I'm learning with y'all. We all learning together. I'm asking these questions and I'm throwing this shit out and I'm reading these positive thoughts so that we all evolve together. So that's a great question. How authentic are you? If you are only operating under other people's expectations, you're not. You're not authentic to yourself, and you're definitely not authentic for them, right? Because you're operating purely under others' expectations, which someone said on here can cause stress, unhappiness. And let me ask this on the flip side, right? Who on here is willing to admit, right, that they are the person that pushes their friends to live up to a specific expectation? Anybody brave enough to stand up and say, I'm one of those people that have friends or family members and I expect them to do this and do that and do this, no matter, not thinking about how it affects their life, whether it's stressing them? How many of you on here are those type of people that have these expectations of other people no matter what? And when they disappoint you because they couldn't execute on what you expected, do you then abandon them? Or do you try to understand why they couldn't be there for you or why they couldn't meet that expectation? Maybe something is going on in their life. Or do you give a fuck? What are we doing? What are we doing? Paul said, thank you for your honesty, my sister, about the fornication. My viewpoint is Bible-based. So therefore, when God speaks, I obey. It's really that simple. No fornication, no adultery. On the other note, your hair is beautiful. Thank you, Paul. And I respect that. And I respect that. Thank you for chiming in. I love it. And this is how we learn, right? Not one of us on here is better than the next person, even though there are human beings, a population of human beings that walk around like they're better than the next person, but they're not. They just have not accepted reality, right? We are all human beings trying to learn, right? And trying to unlearn some unhealthy shit. We are all human beings trying to navigate this thing we call life, right? And none of us operate out of our best at 100% all the time. And it's okay. But the one thing we have to remember is the only expectations you need to live up to is your own. Something I'm learning, right? Because no matter how much you do for other people, how many times you show up, no matter what, the one time you cannot meet expectations of those people, and I have seen it and I have lived it, they will forget all the times that you tried to live up to their expectations, and they will live on the one time, the one or two times that you didn't. And they will hold you to the fire for that. And it used to hurt my feelings, right? It used to hurt my feelings. But now I am moving into a different realm of my expectations are first. I'm not even going to say what was going to come natural to my mouth by saying I don't give a fuck. Because deep down inside, I do care. I grieve the loss of people. And when that grieving is over, I keep moving. Because I am on the track of living up to my own expectations, right? And this is what I'm saying, y'all. This is the message. This is the message. No matter what, live up to your own expectations. And this is how you will attract authentic people in your life. Johnny said, I do think that being in a relationship, there are some expectations that are naturally put on each other. I think we need to clarify what are unreasonable expectations. True. But still, even in that realm, that's a great point, Johnny. When you're in a relationship with someone else, there will be expectations, right? But still understand, right, that whether you're in a relationship with someone or not, you should still have already, dealt with the concept of meeting your own expectations, right? When you come into a relationship. To me, being able to live up to my own expectations makes me more able to live up to my significant other's expectations, because he would see what I'm pouring into myself. I would see what they're pouring into them. But I agree with that. Automatically in relationships, there are expectations, but they are unreasonable expectations. Absolutely agree. Your average logical thinker said, a good friend told me I need to manage my expectations when it comes to others. So now I just categorize people in order of importance, and that helps. You know, I've had a lot of expectations of people, right? And because of those expectations, I've had a broken heart more than once, right? And I'm not talking about from significant others. I'm talking about friends and family as well, right? And I've had to mourn these people, right? And there was a time in my life where I would try to change up just to meet their expectations so I didn't lose these people. No more. I don't do that anymore. Yes, in my friendships and relationships, there are certain expectations, but you have to recognize when their expectations are being pushed above and beyond what you expect for yourself. That is an unreasonable expectation. When you are in relationships with people and they have expectations of you that's taking away from the expectations you have of yourself, that's unfair. That's unfair. Angel said, I love transparency regarding my expectation and others. That's the other part. Are you transparent with your expectations when you get into new relationships, whether it's friends or a significant other? Are you transparent? And when this person sits across the table from you and they give you their truth and they are transparent with you, are you okay with what you are hearing? Do you appreciate a person that's transparent with you, even if you don't agree with it? Or are some of you like, if it's not what I want to hear, I don't want to hear it? A question. Transparency is so important, right? And being able to say no. When people expect you to do things that you cannot do, you should be able to say no. And it should be okay. But what I found in my life is I have shown up so consistently for so many people. When my nose started coming out, they didn't understand it, because to them, I'm supposed to be meeting their expectations. And when my nose started coming in, they didn't like it. And I start to ask myself, what does love look like? Why did I go there? Because I love my friends. People that I call my friends, I love them, right? But it's not love if you're not allowing me to love myself. It's not love if you're not allowing me to love myself. If you're not allowing me to put myself first, if you're not allowing me to make room to live up to my own expectations, then you're not loving me as a friend. You're not loving me as a significant other. You're not loving me as a sibling. You're not loving me as a parent. Paul said, you are absolutely correct. No one is superior to another. What one person knows or can do, another person can know or do something that another person don't have the talent or knowledge to do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? But instead, we're out here putting these expectations on each other. And a lot of times these expectations winds up ruining relationships. Unreasonable expectations. Thank you, Johnny Leon Hill. And I just want to say, continue to love up on yourself. Put yourself first. It doesn't mean push everybody to the side. It just means loving yourself, understanding what your own personal needs are, living up to your own expectations. To me, that can only mean better for the people in your life. Healthier relationships, a healthier you. And that's the word for today, y'all. All right. And with that, I'm going to head out. I love y'all. There's a couple of things I want to announce. Okay. So this weekend, today is February 23rd. In 3 more days, we are having a book reading. It Didn't Start With You. All right. We're going to be reviewing chapters 5 through 8. I am actually on chapter 6 where it starts the exercise. So I have to get a pen. I don't have the worksheet is in Discord, I know, but I'm just going to write it out in a notebook. There's an exercise here, and I love the exercise because the first exercise gets into investigating your core complaint, right? What is your core complaint? And I'm just going to read 2 of them just so y'all get an idea of the book that we're reading, okay? Focus on a problem that's most pressing in your life right now. I need this. Okay. It might be an issue with your health, your job, your relationship, any issue that disrupts your sense of safety, peace, security, or well-being. It's telling us to focus on that thing that's pressing on your life right now. Number 2, it says, what is the deepest issue you want to heal? Maybe it's a problem that feels overwhelming to you. Maybe it's a symptom or a feeling you've had all your life. It didn't start with you. This is what we're going to be discussing. That is in chapter 6. Okay, we are going to be discussing chapters 5 through 8, but I'm in chapter 6. And it doesn't matter if you're in chapter 4, you're in chapter 2, come anyway, because we're going to be talking about what you've read in this book and how you see yourself in this book. And if this book helps you move towards a more healthier living or having a better understanding of why you have the trauma you have, or why you might suffer depression, or why you might have obsessive thoughts, why you have anxieties. It didn't start with you. Okay? This is the book we're reading. This platform is a healing platform. All right? I'm not a therapist. I'm not a life coach, but we do have a therapist on the show. Good morning, man of God. And we do have a life coach. If anybody needs therapy, they're here. If anybody wants a life coach, they are here. Paul, okay, how do you find me on TikTok? Great question, Paul. I love it. How do you find me? I am sharing on my screen my QR code. So if you take your phone, Paul, and you scan that QR code, that's going to open up my link tree. Okay. And you will find me across all of my platforms there: Facebook, IG, YouTube, TikTok. All right. I go live on TikTok. I know they were looking for me this morning because I said I was going to come back this morning with some song requests. And so I'm going to do TikTok in a little while and give them a little bit of music because I try to spread love everywhere that I can. All right. Because the goal here is to recognize our trauma, be okay with it, be accountable to work on our trauma, right? So that we can stop passing this shit down generations and generations. We need to do better, right? All right. And with that, there's a couple of announcements that I need to make. Oh my God. We have our NOLA trip Let the Good Times Roll coming up March 9th through the 12th. All right. That's going to be coming up. Let me see. I do not have the picture here. All right. So I can't share it with you right now. But you guys know March 9th through the 12th, we have NOLA. All right. I will be in New Orleans on the 8th. I get there the day before. All right. I have an itinerary. I'm going to be printing that out, getting the t-shirts together. I have t-shirt sizes for those that are going. I have Ghost. I have Fancy. I have Interior Rue. I have Georgie. I have Angels t-shirt size. If I am missing anybody's t-shirt size that is going to New Orleans that wants a t-shirt, please make sure I get your size. All right. Now that is for the New Orleans trip. Again, I have an itinerary that I will be sharing with everybody so that we can discuss this itinerary when we get to New Orleans. We're going to have our meet and greet on March 9th at the lobby of my hotel. But again, I will communicate that all out in Discord so that you guys know where I'm staying, know what time the first meet and greet is, and you can see the itinerary. Now, the itinerary is options. The only one that's not an option is the meet and greet, because I want to make sure everybody landed safely. I want to collect people's hotel stays in case something happens. We know where each other are. We know where we're staying. Okay. And I want to go over the itinerary so people can pick and choose where they want to go and what they want to do. Some of the things on the itinerary is going to cost extra money, like the selfie museum or whatever. And that there's some things that we're just going to be doing some bar hopping and food tasting and shit like that. We're going to have a great time in NOLA. Let the good times roll. A lot of you I will be meeting physically for the first time, even though we've been together on the show for a long, long time. All right. That is our March trip. Let the good times roll. Okay. Now our summer soiree, which is our big Coffee with Friends travel, right? Every year I'm going, my plan is to do a big summer soiree trip every year at the end of the summer, right? And so this summer, August 10th to August 15th, we are doing Cancun. We're doing Cancun. Summer soiree this year is in Cancun at a new resort called Kukulkan, and it is an all-adult resort. Again, my QR code is on the screen for those that are watching from Facebook and YouTube. You can scan that QR code. The link is there for the trip. If you want to book your room, $50 holds your room. Make sure your room is paid up by July, and then you got to buy your airline ticket. All right. Now, I want to talk about the prices for Cancun. Now, we have been advertising this trip since last year, the end of the year, right? And so we told people, get your rooms, right? The prices will change as we get closer to the time of the trip. Like anything else, okay? Prices change. So if you've already booked your room with your $50 deposit, then your price is intact. But if you have not booked your room, okay, then you might take on an increase of price. All right. So take that into consideration, y'all. All right. Again, we have a couple of solo travelers that's traveling. When I say solo, they are in the room by themselves, because normally the room prices are double occupancy. So if you are a solo traveler, the price for your room is going to be a little bit more. All right. Unless you call out another solo traveler and they don't mind rooming with you, that's fine. All right. We have a lot of things planned for this summer soiree. And my girlfriend is helping me, who is also my roommate. And I told her, she's riding my ass to get my shit together. And I told her, let me get this New Orleans trip out the way. And then I have a whole itinerary for the summer soiree, which I did not share with anybody because I want y'all all to be surprised. All right. And so we're going to be going down that list and making sure we have all our ducks in a row for that trip. Again, link is in my bio for the summer soiree if you're interested, right? This is Coffee with Friends on the go. Meet and greet, meet each other, love up on each other, the opportunity to meet people, meet new people, right? People that are healing, people that are working on unlearning toxic behaviors, unpacking their trauma, getting together, having a good time, making memories. Hopefully you guys join us. So far, I think we got about 9 rooms booked. I'd like to see 9 more. I'd like to take over the resort. All right. Make it worth our while. Okay. And with that, y'all, I appreciate you coming. My message to y'all is to continue loving up on each other. We have enough negativity in this world, right? And in order to love up on each other, you got to learn how to love up on yourself first, right? You got to go deep and figure out where you have not been loving up on yourself. And you got to fill that yourself. Don't look for external things, people, places to fill the voids in your inside. Right? That is for us to do. That is for us. Anything that has happened in our childhoods that we are still carrying, we are not that we're not those children anymore. We are now adults. It is our responsibility to mend what has been broken. And with that, I'm going to leave y'all with a positive message on the way out. Because you know what I say. Even when you feel what? Make sure you're following me, though. Even when you feel low, you can still run.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
And this is Coffee with Friends, and I am brought to you all. Peace.
Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta put the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They see with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. What? Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go.
And with that, y'all, I'm out. Peace.
Go.